bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game.
Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Well, good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. How you doing? Digging the carnivorous action going on right now in Twitter. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Today's Wednesday, October 4th. 277 days into the new year. Just 88 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, The Planet, I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? Very excited. Had a great day. More on that in just a bit. And there was nothing like pepperoni pizza. That's right. I said it. Pepperoni pizza. And the controversy, you know, K28 is trying to convert the Fadernauts and yours truly into being vegetarian vegan. You know, he lost his mind. That ain't gonna happen. Not in this house. And he just posted last night. He did the soy hemoglobin, the burger last night. He did that, and now tonight it's vegetarian pizza, dude. So I have instructed all of the Fadernauts right now to get all of your favorite pizza shots going in Twitter, and man, you guys are doing a dang fine job of it. The only thing missing from a vegetarian pizza that makes it a pizza is pepperoni. A pizza, not that cheese pizza is not pizza. Cheese pizza is cheese on dough with some red stuff. It's not a pizza. There is no such thing as vegetarian pizza. That is incorrect. Pizza's main ingredient is pepperoni. And I don't come at me with anything else. If you want to add sausage, you want to add ham or pineapple or olives or green peppers, onions, whatever you want to do, that's fine. But a pizza has pepperoni on it. And that is see, somebody just said pizza must also have sausage. I'm good with that, but not a sausage pizza. Sausage and pepperoni pizza is a pizza. All right? Pepperoni. A pizza is with pepperoni first. That's it. That is. Don't debate me on this. You're going to lose. And I can see that everybody, look at this. You guys have got, this is good. This is good. I want to see some more action, though. What is somebody just said, what time does Fade to Black start? I want to see your shots of your favorite pizza. Look. Here in L.A., here in Burbank, best pizza place out here is Dino's. Dino's on Burbank and Hollywood Way. Hands down, the best pizza. Up the street, a couple blocks away, is Taste Chicago. Also good. It's owned by the band Chicago, right? Chicago. And Joe Montana. They own this place. And it's good. It's good. Not as good as Dino's. It's imitation deep dish. It's expensive. It's crazy money. And it's good. But Dino's. You know what? When the show's over tonight, everybody just Google Dino's and call them. Jimmy Church said, Fade to Black, man, you guys have the best pizza in L.A. Is that true? All organic. They make everything there. It's really good. Amazing pizza. And pepperoni. Okay. All right. Show me your favorite pizza shots. You guys are good. Mickey Blowtorch. That's good. That's a good one. Okay. All right. Where am I at? Today's Wednesday, October 4th, by the way. A very strange anniversary today. We're going to get to that. It's a very special day today. All right. Tonight, we have a very special guest. James Gilliland is here. We're going to talk about the recent video that we posted up at ECETI Ranch. And later on in the show tonight, the video is pretty amazing. Later on in the show tonight, we are going to have the gentleman that shot that video, Ryan Wenner, is going to be here. Okay, so that'll be at the top of the hour. Very excited to hear from Ryan. He's also got some other videos that we are going to get posted as soon as we get them. There's, video is difficult to, you just don't email it. So anyway, we'll get that and we'll get it edited and done and get that stuff posted too. We will be talking about all of that tonight. Very excited to have Ryan on the show. He is a fade or not. Don't forget about that. Okay, so Ryan's going to be here. He shot the video, and we'll get everything about what happened that morning at 9 a.m. When he shot that amazing piece of footage. Tomorrow night is another fader night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom live. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. You know what to do. Fade to Black. Follow, like, and subscribe over on the website, jimmychurchradio.com. The Sandbox, if you want to hang out and post your pizza pictures. Look at you guys. Okay, there must be copious amounts of pig and cow all over a pizza, alive or dead. I'm not fussy. Yeah, keep it coming. I love pizza, man. Pizza. When I have three pretty basic memories when it comes to pizza, and where I was at that moment. Okay, in Chicago, in the suburbs there, Geno's Pizza, and I'm talking about 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old. At that age. When you go in, you sit down, they have the plastic pitchers with the Coke in it, that thing. The smell in the air of stale beer and cigarettes and pizza. That is a pizza joint. Well, anyway, pepperoni, black olives, onions, mushroom, pizza, that taste. That's one of my first memories. And that's what I gauge everything on. The second memory I have is in Indianapolis. I don't know if they have it anymore. Anybody from Naptown, let me know. Noble Romans, okay? And there was a Noble Romans pizza joint right next to our house in Indianapolis. And their deep dish pizza, which was square, by the way, Sicilian, amazing. All right, same thing, pitchers of plastic pitchers of Coke. Amazing pizza there. It just had a taste. And then Giordano's in Chicago. And then the first time I bit into a New York pizza, which was somewhere in the 80s, late 80s, first time I went to Manhattan. And you never forget that. So I have those kind of three memories. There's other pizza places around the country, and I've eaten at a lot of great places. Here in L.A., it's just Dino's, Dino's and Taste Chicago. It's hard to find good pizza here in Los Angeles. You must leave town. And so when we do get pizza, though, we either go to Dino's or Taste Chicago. And it's the truth. Everything else, you eat pizza around L.A., but whatever, Pizza Hut, Domino's, sometimes you don't have a choice and you got to get your pizza fix on. But here in L.A., it's pretty much just two places. Anyway, post your pictures of your favorite pizza. You guys are good. Look at it, man. You guys are good. All right, let's move on. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. And you can email throughout the show tonight, Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. Before I start to kick things off here, this afternoon I spent my time with Veritas Radio with Mel Fabregas. And it was great being on his show. Totally wonderful and fun conversation. And you can check it out. Just go to veritasradio.com. I think we put the links up in Twitter already. I'll do it at the bottom of the hour. But I think it's going to post tomorrow. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it is. And go and check it out. Very cool. Full, uninterrupted 2 hours spent with Mel today. And it was fun. Mel he's one of the absolute very, very best. And it was cool. And we didn't talk about Las Vegas. And we didn't talk about, we just had one of those conversations. It was very cool. All right. So veritasradio.com. Thank you, Mel. Yeah, man, you're just really great at what you do. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. Go over to jimmychurchradio.com. Click on the podcast link. 730 archive shows are sitting there for you. Apple, Android, all platforms, just $2 a month. Also, our membership area is right there. You get the bunker cam. You get free downloadable, commercial-free archives that you can do whatever with. And you can even just move up the charts there and get T-shirts and autographed hats and all that stuff. Okay, so it's all there. Plus, you get an email to me direct. All right, what is this? Jimmy's Grotto, Panzerata Pizza. That place sounds good. Where's that at? If you're going to post that, I want to know what city that's in. I know it's not L.A. We're not that good. But keep posting. Look at all these pizza shots, man. I'm going to go through all that stuff later. All right, let's get this show cracking. Don't forget all of our sponsors here. Okay, that's how this show broadcasts every single night. Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, New Pharma, Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, Studio Dome Speakers. All of the banners are over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Full instructions, what to do, are over there. All the promo codes, everything that you need, it's right there. Okay? Happy birthday to today. Russell Simmons is 60. Russell Simmons. Think about that. Russell Simmons, rap. And now he's got a home in Beverly Hills. Just think about that. Susan Sarandon today is 71, and she is now starring in Ray Donovan, one of our favorite shows. But also today, Liev Schreiber is 50. The Ray Donovan. Yeah, that's kind of a weird coincidence. Christoph Waltz today is 60 years old. No, he's 61 actually, and starred in Inglourious Bastards, a movie that Rita and I have seen probably. I'm going to say we've seen it over 20 times. Amazing. Christoph Waltz stole the show in that. Great stars, great thing, but it was Christoph, right? Now he's in everything. But I don't believe he spoke English in Inglourious Bastards. He did everything phonetically. Read the words, didn't know what he was saying. Stole the show. Christoph Waltz today is 61. I'm wondering now, can he speak English? 10 years after Inglourious Bastards was released, how good is his English today? I've never met the guy. I've always wondered about that. Our dead guy's birthday today is Charlton Heston. Save your email. I'm just going to say it now. 1923 to 2008, died at the age of 84. and will always make the list for two things. One, Mystery of the Sphinx with John Anthony West and Robert Schoch. But there was this other picture, too. Planet of the Apes. Yeah. Happy birthday, Charlton Heston. On this day in history, OTD, 1957, the Soviet Union kicks off the space age with the launch of Sputnik, the world's first artificial satellite. Can you imagine, when they launched that, there were two things that you could see orbiting the Earth. Yeah, because they weren't first, right? So you could see Sputnik, but you could also see the Black Knight satellite. So technically, they weren't first. All right. Milan, Italy. There you go. That reminds me of Pizza Napoli in Panama. Look that up. Google Pizza Napoli. Google Pizza. The first Twitter pop-up showing me Pizza Napoli in Panama City. I'll send you a gift. Okay? I'll put something in the mail. Let me see how good you guys are. I don't even know. They must have Pizza Napoli in Panama up somewhere on. I've never Googled them. But that reminds me of Pizza Napoli. That's exactly what it looks like. A little burnt, right? Yeah, see the burnt? Yeah, I dig that. Man, I totally dig that. All right, Pizza Napoli, man. There you go. There's another memory. The pepperoni, they put it in the oven so hot, pepperoni would curl up and make its own little grease bowls. And it would come to the table. You look down at the pepperoni around the pizza, and they would all curl up, and they were full of orange pepperoni grease. And you just knew that was the tasty part. Yeah. Okay, where am I at? Fate or fact, the Queen of England is related to Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, that's right. Dracula. Nice. Makes sense, really, if you think about it. It's a fate or fact. Go and vet it, please. Tonight, James Gilliland is here. We're going to talk about that recent video that we posted up on YouTube that was shot last week in the morning up at ECETI Ranch by Ryan Wenner. Later on in the show, Ryan is going to join us, too, as well, and tell us all about it. So we've got a great night lined up in front of us. Also, got to ask James what's going on with the door on the top of Mount Adams. We've got some news on that, too, as well. Okay, now, as I mentioned earlier, today is an anniversary. The Shag Harbour UFO incident that was reported, the impact of a UFO into the waters near Shag Harbour, which was a tiny fishing village in the Canadian province of Nova Scotia, on October 4th, 1957, 50 years ago, 1967, 50 years ago today. The reports were investigated by various civilian Royal Canadian Mounted Police, right, the RCMP, Canadian Coast Guard, the military, Royal Canadian Navy, and the Air Force up there. And, of course, was mentioned in the U.S. Condon Committee report. Now, there are reports that the United States Army and military and Air Force and Navy and men in the United States military uniforms were on location, too, as well. Now, this is the thing. I'm going to set it up for you. This is one of the most important. Okay, who did this? Deuce Sky. Man, see, now I got to backpedal. That's it. Pizza Napoli right there. My hangout in high school. Well done. That's Bob. And somebody just posted the Pizza Napoli. Deuce Sky. The Pizza Napoli menu. Well done. That's what I'm talking about. I love this audience. Fate or nots are the best. But let me set this up for you. Air Canada Flight 305. En route to Toronto while flying over Sherbrooke and Saint Jean, Quebec, from Halifax International Airport, right? They were at 3,600 meters. So what is that? Somebody convert that into math. What is that? Is that 10,000 feet, right? 12,000 feet. Air Canada Captain Pierre Charbonneau on Flight 305 immediately pointed out to co-pilot Bob Ralph that there was something strange out on the left side of the aircraft at about 7:15 p.m. In his report, the captain reported an object tracking along on a parallel course a few miles away. He describes it as a brilliantly lit rectangular object with a string of smaller lights trailing the object. At 7:19, the pilots noticed a sizable silent explosion near the large object. Then, 2 minutes later, a second explosion occurred, which faded into a blue color around the object. Now, another report, Daryl Dory and his sister, Annette, and his mother were sitting on their front porch in Mahone Bay when they noticed a large object maneuvering above the western horizon. The next day, Daryl wrote a letter to the the RCAF Greenwood base commander asking what was flying over the water that evening. And he stated in the letter that he had never seen anything like it. The Royal Canadian Air Force. I wanted to say mounted police, but it's the RCAF. And then there's this other report. And this is from M.V. Nickerson of Sambro, Nova Scotia. And it's RCMP report number 67-400-23-X. That's right. The RCMP have their own X files. And in the report, it says, while standing at the wheelhouse of his vessel, Captain Leo Howard Mercy was looking at 4 blips on his Decca radar that were stationary. When he looked up at about 28 kilometers from the vessel's windows, he could see the 4 bright objects situated in a roughly rectangular formation. The entire crew of nearly 20 fishermen stood on the deck and watched the object in the northeastern sky. Captain Mercy radioed the Rescue Coordination Center and the harbor master in Halifax, asking for an explanation. Their only reply was that there seems to be a lot of strange things in the sky tonight. Leo filed a report with the Lunenburg RCMP outlining his sighting when they arrived in port. The newspaper up there, the Chronicle Herald, and local radio stations reported a glowing object that had been seen by many people who had called their newsroom. They reported witnessing a strange glowing object and objects flying around Halifax at around 10 p.m. The next day, an anonymous woman's report made the paper. Now, something had crashed into the waters in Shag Harbour. At least 11 people saw a low-flying lit object head towards the harbor. Multiple witnesses reported hearing a whistling sound like a bomb, then a whoosh, and finally a loud bang. The object was never officially identified and was therefore referred to as an unidentified flying object in all of the government's and Canadian documents. The Canadian military became involved in subsequent rescue recovery effort, and the initial report made by local resident Laurie Wickens and 4 of his friends. And they said that driving through Shag Harbour on Highway 3, they spotted a large object descending into the waters off of the harbor. Attaining a better vantage point, Wickens and his friends saw an object floating about 250 meters, 800 feet offshore in the waters of Shag Harbour. Wickens contacted the RCMP detachment in Barrington Passage and reported he had seen a large airplane or a small airliner crash into the waters off of Shag Harbour. Now, assuming an aircraft had crashed, within about 15 minutes, 10 RCMP officers arrived on the scene. Concerned for survivors, the RCMP detachment contacted the Rescue Coordination Center, the RCC, in Halifax to advise them of the situation and ask if any aircraft were missing. Before any attempt at rescue could be made, the object started to sink and disappeared from view. A rescue mission was quickly assembled. Within a half hour of the crash, local fishing boats went out to the crash site in the waters of the Gulf and right there in Shag Harbour to look for survivors. No survivors, bodies, or debris were taken, either by the fishermen or by the Canadian Coast Guard Search and Rescue Center, which arrived about an hour later from nearby Clark's Harbour. By the next morning, RCC Halifax had determined that no aircraft were missing. While still tasked with the search, right? Everybody is still there in Shag Harbour. The captain of the Canadian Coast Guard cutter received a radio message from RCC Halifax that all commercial, private, and military aircraft were accounted for along the eastern seaboard in both Atlantic Canada and New England. Now, the same morning, RCC Halifax also sent a priority telex to the air desk at the Royal Canadian Air Force headquarters in Ottawa, which handled all civilian and military UFO sightings, informing them of the crash and that all conventional explanations of such, like aircraft flares, etc., had been dismissed. Therefore, they labeled this a UFO report. I'm putting that in air quotes because that's what they said. The head of the air desk then sent another priority telex to the Royal Canadian Navy headquarters concerning the UFO report and recommended an underwater search be mounted. The RCN in turn sent another priority telex tasking Fleet Diving Unit Atlantic with carrying out the search. 2 days after the incident had been observed, a detachment of RCN divers from Fleet Diving Unit Atlantic was assembled for the next 3 days as they combed the seafloor of the Gulf of Maine off Shag Harbour looking for an object. The final report said no trace of an object was found. The Chronicle Herald ran another story on October 9th titled, UFO Search Called Off. Now, as I wind this down, this is one of the most significant UFO incidents in the history of the world. Okay, everybody was involved here. Plenty of documentation. What is excluded here are the other reports about a second craft joining the other craft, and that it looked like they were repairing the first craft. They could see the lights under the water. The activity was going on. And then the crafts went across the lit up, went across the bottom of Shag Harbour, rose up outside of the bay, took off, and flew into space. Now, something crashed in Shag Harbour. I can tell you that it wasn't an airline or an airplane. All people were accounted for. Nobody died. What's interesting here is that everybody witnessed, including the Coast Guard, the RCMP that arrived on the scene, that there was a craft in the water. They saw it. There were reports of foam and yellow foam and things floating in the water. They did take test samples, right? All of this happened. They saw it go down. And the collection of not only boats, but the people along the shoreline, which was watching this rescue effort going on, and it was in complete eyesight right there in front of everybody. And it is one of those cases that just went away. 50 years ago today, on October 4th, Shag Harbour, the UFO incident. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, James Gilliland, live from ECETI Ranch. A great video was shot last week. We posted it up on YouTube. We'll get the links up for everybody right now in Twitter. And I'll be right back after this short break with James Gilliland. Later on, Ryan Wenner, who shot the video, will join us. Stay with us. This is Fade to Black.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply, and of course the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic, and very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. Join in on the conversation. Everything is real time. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. We have 2 fully charged chat rooms over at KGRA The Planet and also over in Spreaker. So everything that you want to do in real time and stay interactive with the show, have conversations without everybody in the audience in the Fade or Not, you can do so. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland, best-selling author, internationally known lecturer, minister, counselor, multiple near-death experiencer, and, of course, he's a contactee. He is recognized worldwide as the founder of the Gilliland Estate, otherwise known as the ECETI Ranch, Enlightened Contact with Extraterrestrial Intelligence, where he documents and shares amazing multidimensional contact. Now, his books include Reunion with Source, Becoming Gods, and The Ultimate Soul Journey. He is the host of the documentary Contact, and Contact Has Begun. He has been featured on His Story, the History Channel, the History Channel, UFOs Then and Now, UFO Hot-spots, ABC, Fox News, BBC, and, of course, Paranormal State. He is a speaker at events such as the International UFO Congress, Contact in the Desert, and the Star Knowledge Conferences. Tonight, we're going to discuss the recent video footage that was shot over last week up at ECETI Ranch. And a little bit later on, we're going to bring on Ryan Wenner, who shot the video that we posted up on our YouTube channel. It's over on Facebook, and it has now been reposted up here in Twitter. And I can see that everybody is now watching it. So I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, James Gilliland. James, welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Oh, doing great. Great to be back on the show.
No, it's always good to hear your voice. And pretty amazing footage last week. Now, before we get to that, and I know that there's other things going on up there, but James, it never stops at ECETI, does it? I mean, is it every single day and night?
Pretty much. We we don't really have the technology we should to document what's going on or the time, because it is a working ranch as well. But we see so many things and miss a lot that we don't get documented. And the what's interesting now is finding out that just, I got a new phone finally. I finally broke down, and I got a new phone, and it has slow motion video on it. And so Ryan went out and took this slow motion video of a ship just cruising right over the ranch, very low. And then so the other people went out there with their phones and did the same thing. And so now we've got this massive footage that we really need to get up and get edited of all these ships that before you couldn't see them because they were going so fast that even the naked eye couldn't almost follow them. It'd just be a blip, that just went by, and you kind of go, what was that? But now with the slow motion cameras, we're seeing that, there's a virtual highway here of ships going in and out of the mountain and flying over the ranch, and it's just like never stops. It's like ongoing.
The angle, what I found interesting when I first saw the video, now I'm telling you, the second that I saw it, I went, okay, all right, now that's something. This is real. And Rita was walking past the bunker down to her studio, and I said, Rita, you got to come in here. And, we see video all the time, James, right? All day long, somebody sending us something. And I said, you have to see this video. And I know Rita's reaction was, okay, another video. She came in and looked and went, wait a minute here. And that's the first reaction, right? It's like, wait a minute. Let's just stop. And this is what I found interesting. I know the trajectory. I know what is due north. I know the layout of ECETI. When we were up there doing all of the sky watches, I mean, ships are at every angle and so forth, but there was a definite, satellites go east and west. They're over the equator, right? East, west, west, east. We have that line. Then we have the polar orbit, which is north-south. But when you, the UFO highway that you call it up there, goes from southeast to northeast. It's at an angle, right? It's at an it doesn't follow a satellite path. Plus, they are coming in low. They're not up. Well, some are up high, but some of these remarkable things that I witnessed are at an angle. They're not traveling a satellite trajectory. What do you think is going on with that, this UFO highway? Why that path?
Well, it's quite interesting because we have so much footage and multiple eyewitnesses at the time that have seen these ships, and they're coming in, some are like half treetop level, some are just above the trees. We have so many different shots of these things. I mean, massive light ships coming in, and it's just a veritable highway. And also, there's a vortex here where the energy is very high, so it seems to be easier to see them and easier to make contact here as well. And then you have things going in and out of the mountain on a regular basis. And from my understanding is that there's like a galactic airport there, and inside the mountain, and then there's many levels to it. It goes down very deep and just massive caverns. We're right on top of a massive cavern, and the ships are I think they're going into those massive caverns.
The again, going back to this UFO highway, are they following something on the ground? Is there some kind of ley line? It's like they're following something like a slot car track. It's they're following something. Do you think it's on the ground?
Well, they seem to go mountain to mountain, is what I've seen.
Oh,
and so,
okay.
Yeah, and so a lot of the direction when they come in from, they're heading right down the Cascade Mountain Range, and towards St. Helens and Rainier. But there's a lot of ships being seen around both mountains, as well as Mount Hood has quite a few sightings too. But I don't get over there that often. That's on the other side of the river.
Is there a time of day? Is there a time of day where everything is more, more activity? Is there some, 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night? Is there?
Yeah, it does seem in the morning, early in the morning, I've seen a lot of activity up there. At night too, we have we call it dark 30 minutes after dark. And then it goes on for a couple hours. We go out and watch and film the ship. I went out last night and filmed quite a few ships, and we just had ECETI, which is the Japan version of ECETI, and a lot of Japanese people were here, and we had some huge ships come in and power up, and the door on the mountain opened up, and they had a great time. So it's a constant thing. It's not like telling a story about something that happened in Roswell or 60 years in the past. It's still happening. It's not trying to prove something. We tell people come up and bring your own cameras and bring your own devices and get your own footage.
You've had a lot of different groups there, professional groups, not only Paranormal State, but Clyde Lewis, and you just mentioned ECETI. The GoPro people were there too with Clyde. So you have these different professional groups that come through with, some pretty heavy gear, probably skeptical going in and not so skeptical going out. I know how that goes.
Yeah.
But they are up there with some pretty high-tech equipment, and pretty much they get to film stuff.
Oh, yeah. They've brought up TIP technology, which is Harold Oldfield's technology, and he said, when I looked at the footage, he said there's more energy coming off the mountain here than the pyramids. And he doesn't know why there's such a massive amount of energy coming off that mountain. But also, too, they filmed when we do the gatherings, they film the gatherings, and they could see the energies change in the room, and different, beings on different dimensions coming in. So we have a lot of documentation here, and triple PhD Boeing engineers and Lockheed Skunk Works engineers and Air Force base commanders and pilots and air traffic controllers, people that really know what they're looking at. And we even had some NASA guys here, but they kind of said it didn't happen. They don't, I can't mention their names because they'll get in trouble, but, they looked at the footage and saw the ships, and some of them actually went and testified on Coast to Coast with Art Bell.
Now, everybody remembers their first time. When you went to ECETI, what was your first sighting? What did you see?
The first day here on the land, I saw, the movie Old Testament where the clouds make those crazy formations and it gets all crazy?
Yep.
There's a giant saucer cloud over the mountain, and it lit up from the inside, and it was bright pink orange. And then it changed into all these fingers going up. It was just amazing. And the next thing I know, ships are like popping in and out. And, a big ship came over and powered up. And it wasn't even dark yet. And when I looked up, I had two eagles, just, bald eagles circling over my head. So, it's a pretty strong sign, this is the place.
That was your first day there. Your first something happened.
Yeah, before I even stepped on the land. And I also had some encounters, and this is kind of off the wall, but I had some encounters with some nature spirits that weren't real happy with the previous owner.
I wanted to ask you about, before then we're going to get to this video because the footage is amazing. The neighbors there. Like whoever's living on the other side of the covered bridge, right?
Yeah.
Right, on the other side of the river. Your neighbors that live around you, that they, every single night from their house, they're looking over at ECETI, watching the lasers and the hooping and the hollering, and it's going on every single night. What do they think about you, James?
They call me Cosmic James, as kind of I think it's kind of an endearing term, but they know it's real. I had most of the major ministers come up to the ranch and had a conversation with them and showed them where, it was all throughout the frescoes and the Bibles and explained to them. So They pretty much accept it. They may not totally agree with me on my belief system, but they know it's real. And they had a big jamboree at the Baptist church, which actually they bought to school here, and they had all these tents parked out. And we had 4 ships that looked a lot like Star Trek come over and just park and hover above them for quite a while. So they've been pretty well indoctrinated. There's so many people that have seen them. There's people that have seen, beams come down really late at night, and like a blue beam will come right over my house, and usually that's the night I had those crazy dreams that you thought were a dream, but they weren't,
Yeah, we've all had those, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I told you about this. I certainly didn't talk about it on the air. Rita and I, we went to the covered bridge to take photographs. So we park the car and we get out, and there's nobody there, and it's beautiful, right? So we're inside, outside taking pictures, and this guy comes from the far side, from the community, and he pulls through the bridge and comes up to us. He rolls down his window. And he goes, so you guys are interested in the bridge? I said, yeah, this is really cool. He goes, man, I know everything about it. Do you have any questions? What are you guys doing here? Are you tourists? And I said, we're here with ECETI, and we're here to do some sky watching tonight. The guy looked at me, looked at Rita, rolled up his car window, and peeled out. just I saw nothing but taillights. And he said something under his breath. You'd have to ask Rita what he said, but it was funny. I thought, okay, good. Everybody is so friendly up here. He's going to answer our questions about this covered bridge. And as soon as I said we're here to watch some stuff tonight, he's like, and peeled out. And I didn't get my questions answered about the bridge. A few minutes later, somebody else pulled up and told us all about it. But that first guy was really funny. Now, let's get to this video. You, last week, I think it was Friday, because we were all, right. So it's Friday. You call and like, Jimmy, okay, here we go. You got to check this out. And you immediately sent me the video. My reaction, I can't really use the words that I sent you in the text or the email after that, but I was pretty impressed. So then you and I talked on the phone for about a half an hour. I needed the details to get all of this down. What did you think when you first saw the footage? I know what you told me, but I want you to share with everybody the details on that. What time of day? What went down? Who was there? Were there witnesses? Take us through all of that.
Well, the first thing I did when I saw the video, I like to really, because I'm very discerning when I get things, and I like to check it out and see. Now, the fact that it's in slow motion means that thing was going so fast. It was just screaming by, and even in slow motion, nobody saw it. These things are moving so fast that unless you film them in slow motion, you're not even going to see them. And I also went out and I filmed, a hawk going by, some ravens, and things like that, almost on the same trajectory. You could see the wings flapping. You could tell, without a doubt, it was a crow or a hawk. I mean, it was a no-brainer, and they're almost like standing still when you use the slow motion thing on your camera. So I did, I double checked everything to see if it could be anything other than the obvious, and, so I always like to do that because, people are going to hit you with the hard questions and try to say, oh, that's a bird, that's a bug and things like that. But when you see this thing cut through there so fast and it goes right down, right across, really low over the field, swings around the trees. And if you look really closely, you can see it turn around and come back towards us, in a way. And nothing flies like that. Nothing flies that fast, that steady. It didn't move up and down. It was so steady as it went across the field there. There's only one conclusion that, it's a non-identified flying object. I later found out who it was and what it was, and by talking to some of my friends and so we have a better idea about what's going on.
Were there any other witnesses?
Well, there was, yeah. When he took the footage, there was a few people standing out there, and he showed it to them, and they were going, oh my God, or WTF. That's what they always say. The two main things that come out of people's mouths when these things happen. And then they all started turning their phones on and getting slow-mo footage of the mountain, and we kept seeing these light ships like coming out of the mountain and going straight up. We could see some falling. They just fell straight down out of the sky, and then they'd stop and bounce and then go into the mountain. And I've seen that before. I've seen a lot of the Pleiadian ships. Sometimes they just fall. They fall out of the sky, and all of a sudden they stop, and then they'll go wherever they need to go. But it's really interesting watching them fly. But it does. The other footage that we're getting, it's undeniable. These things are light ships, or they're actually physical ships, metallic ships, and they're moving in and out of the mountain. But they're doing it so fast that you're not even going to see it with your naked eye.
Right. And does anybody remember seeing anything, and not only this particular incident ship, was there anything else in the sky at that moment that was going on?
Well, there was, the usual. You'll see, bugs, dragonflies, things like that in the sky. But, you could tell definitely this wasn't a bug. And, there's some birds, flying around. I photographed a jet flying over the mountain just to get perspective. I filmed a whole lot of different things. And, they kept, when you match them up against that footage, it's just no contest. You can tell it's definitely, an unknown. We call them IFOs here. They're identified flying objects.
Yeah, and what about, a couple of questions. We've got about 5 minutes before we hit the break, and then we're going to bring Ryan on. What's your guesstimates on the size of this craft?
Actually, it's not that big of a craft. It's only about 8 or 9 feet wide. And so, I asked my people up there, it comes from the Orion Council of Light, from that group, and it's they call them like telemeter ships, so they're more like a drone, and those they use for really low level surveillance, communication, things like that. They use ships like that, to do the work, and the other ships usually up higher, or they'll drop down once in a while, but for all the low-level stuff, they usually use the smaller ships.
Now, I said in the video, because I was trying to triangulate, I said that the ship was 75 feet across. And the reason why I know the layout of ECETI, and I'm looking at the angle of this craft, I was guesstimating it to be about 300 feet in the air and maybe 300 feet away. Now, if that, 300, maybe 400 feet. But if that was the case, I was thinking it was probably closer to 50, 75 feet in diameter. You're saying 9 to 10 feet. Okay, all right. I can go with that.
It could be. I don't have the technology to actually figure out exactly. Now, that thing, when it came in, when you see it go over to the trees, those trees are about 200 feet tall, and it's flying beneath the trees.
Right. And again, that's what I based everything on. Those trees are very, very tall. When you look at them in the video, I think most people assume, or they're thinking those are 20-foot tall trees. They are not. That's half a mile away where those trees are, or further. And some of those trees are on the other side of the road where the covered bridge is that we were just talking about. And that object moves past that. And you can see in the depth of, how the focus is, how far away it is at that point. And if those trees are 200 feet tall, looking at the object, again, I'm thinking it's much bigger than we think it is. Again, I'm just trying to triangulate things. Now,
it could be.
From the speed, I sped up the video to go to normal speed. It was sent to us in slow motion. I doubled the speed. And looking at that, for it to cover about a mile, which is what you see basically in the video, from the house to the other side of the road where those tall trees are, and start to make that turn, that's probably almost a mile in about a 20th of a second. Right? A 10th of a second. It's a blip.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for it to cover that, what kind of speed are we talking about here, James?
I have no idea. I know we track some of these higher ones, and you can't tell how high they are. But, we were doing some calculations on it, and we were getting speeds of up to, like 750,000 miles an hour and things like that.
Something crazy. Right, right.
Yeah, and we're getting some of them that are going, definitely several thousand miles an hour. And we see jets chasing them, and they double the speed of the jet and leave. And that's on a regular basis. That happens on a regular basis. But I think Ryan's trying to call me over and over again.
Well, he knows. He can sit and behave. I told him. Sit and behave. So we'll be calling him in a few minutes. But, this is, I'll tell you something else that is strange about this, which is this. I have been contacted by bird experts saying it's a bird, it's a hawk, it's an eagle, it's a raven, it's this, it's that, right?
Yeah.
I've got that. And they are saying that they are definitely right. Then I've got the drone experts. It's a drone. It's this kind of drone. Then I've got the military plane experts. It's this kind of plane. It's this kind of plane. It's this kind. Then I've got the bug experts. It's definitely a bug because of this. And I'm thinking to myself, look, all of you say that you are right, that everybody else is wrong. Now, do you know how crazy it sounds to go from a bug to a secret military aircraft? I had one guy, right, you all cannot be right. And then I had somebody that wrote me that said they knew for a fact it was the flying deers. I'm like, man, come on, you guys got to stop this. It is an amazing video. All right, let's take a break right here, James, and we'll come back and we'll be joined with Ryan Wenner, who shot the video, and very excited to get him on the show with us. And James Gilliland is here. The amazing video shot up at ECETI Ranch. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. And I'll be right back with Ryan Wenner, who shot the video. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, I'm Gilliland. You're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Gobekli Tepe. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product. What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Gobekli Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This portion of the broadcast is brought to you by Life Change Tea. Click on the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. Forgetthetea.com. Use the promo code FADER, F-A-D-E-R. You will get yourself some free shipping because you know somebody. You are a Fader not. Getthetea.com. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland, live from ECETI Ranch. And joining us now is Ryan Wenner, who shot the video. It is amazing. And Ryan, welcome to Fade to Black. How are you tonight?
I'm great. Thanks, Jimmy.
It's great to hear your voice. Don't be so excited, Ryan.
Great to hear your voice. I'm a huge fan of your show, Jimmy, and I'm a true Fader not until the end of time.
There you go. Say hi to James. He's right here, by the way.
Hey, James, how you doing? I also like to thank you and tell you that you've inspired me, and I appreciate the work that you do.
Now, before we get to the video, Ryan, and thank you for that. Before we get to the video, was this your first trip to ECETI?
Yes, actually. Yeah, it was a pretty interesting trip, to say the least.
Well, because you've heard, on Fade to Black and, of course, Coast to Coast and from around the world, the stories about ECETI Ranch, right? Now you get there for the first time. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Were you seeing stuff all night long?
Actually, no. It was an interesting story. My brother Alan and his boys, my brother Eric and his girls, they went there on the 15th of September. And they kept sending me pictures, and I just kept getting more and more intrigued by this place and kept researching it and researching James and the work that he's done there. And I just left. I just decided to leave after work on Thursday, drove all the way there from Tacoma. And when I got there, something kind of freaked me out when I got there. That's a whole other story, but I just stayed in my car. I didn't really want to interrupt anybody because I showed up there kind of late. It was about 11:30 at night when I showed up there.
And, so everybody was out doing the sky watch at that point?
Yeah, well, there's a few people, but I didn't even go over there. When I got there, so I got out of the car kind of by the tractor. You're familiar with it, the ranch. Uh-huh. And I was parked there, and I started walking up, and I looked to the left, and I seen all the lights and stuff over there at the ranch. Well, then I looked to the right, and there's this blue kind of orb, just kind of on the tree line of the field of the ranch, and it's going up and down, pulsating at an extreme speed, and it freaked me out. So I ran back to my car. and I didn't leave my car until 7 the next morning.
Yeah, I love it. You know, Ryan, I'm sure you've heard me talk about the orb that I saw right where you were, right on the field. Now, you heard me tell the story, right? Now, you go out there and you see it for yourself. A total holy crap moment, wasn't it?
I've never seen anything like it. I've seen crafts and stuff before on Lopez Island, Friday Harbor area, and some in Montana as well, but I've never seen anything like that. And that was just the beginning of my experience there at the ranch.
I listen, Ryan, I absolutely love it. I went through the very same experience, and hearing you talk about yours, and you just said it was the very beginning, right? Well, that's what happened to me. The first thing I saw was an orb, and I was like, this is pretty trippy. And then you go through 3 or 4 days at the ranch, and you pretty much, whatever it is that you want to experience, it tends to go down at ECETI. I can't explain it, but now that you've gone through it, I'm not full of crap, am I?
No, not at all. I mean, I've just recently overcame, many things, and a lot of things that have held me back, and I just went there to experience a greater power. I asked to see something more than what there is, and I was shown on an entirely new scale, and I was actually able to share it with everybody as well.
Yeah,
the best part.
And congratulations for that. And I'm sorry that the blue orb freaked you out, but it freaked me. Look, man, that gray orb stopped me, man. It really did. That was that. I can't even. I still can't put it into words. It was a very, very fun, interesting, enlightening, and awakening type of thing to go through. Now, okay, let's. So the next morning, I'm assuming the next morning when you finally had the courage to get out of your car, that was that the morning that you shot the video?
Yeah, I woke up about 2 hours before I shot the video and just kind of walked the whole ranch. I went to the medicine wheel and I just looked at everything. I didn't know anything. I hadn't been taught anything by James. All I knew was from what I had researched. So I walked the whole property and some. I walked down to the river, and I come back up, and I'm just standing, between the medicine wheel. You can see exactly where, because the video is 180 or it's half angle. So I put it on slow motion mode on my phone. As soon as I could, as I was viewing, I pushed the button and I just slowly turned it. Well, I didn't see anything, and so I just go through my phone to check it out because it was my first slow motion video on this phone, and I instantly noticed it. I instantly know what I had captured, and I just recently captured more as well. There's 2 more videos that I have. One with 2 crafts that size, and then one with 1 craft that size, and 1 craft is ginormous. It's unbelievable in scale. The quality isn't great because it's at such a far distance. It's just to the right of Mount Adams, and it's incredible. And I see more and more the more I go back on the videos and the pictures that I had taken there.
Yeah, we did the same thing, Ryan, just so you know. We went, we took so many photographs there. And not only while we were up at ECETI, going back and reviewing the images, and it wasn't just us, it was everybody there. And we're going back and reviewing, and there is stuff that we captured in the clouds to the right of Mount Adams, literally flying in and out of the clouds towards Mount big craft in the clouds. This isn't some ladybug flying close to our camera. This is going in a straight line, shot over time on the mountain. And we went back and started looking at these things, and the mountain is so far away that you cannot see it because it's far. It's 13, 14 miles away. But you photograph the mountain, and then you just go back and blow up the photographs, and there's stuff in the clouds. And these aren't airplanes. These aren't helicopters. These are some very classically shaped, saucers and objects that are very, very, very hard to explain. And you can't use conventional wisdom here. Is that what you were seeing as well? You just can't explain it as, a helicopter, a hot air balloon, a swamp gas. Yeah. You can't do it, can you?
No, you can't. Most of the objects are stationary, but you do see ones that are doing zigzags and different maneuvers that birds wouldn't typically do, or planes, or really anything, except for maybe a ship with anti-gravity, of course. But what was interesting is my brother Eric, I don't really believe that he's a believer or been a believer, but I'm turning him on to it now. Well, he sends me a picture last night that he took there of my brother Alan and his boys, and he took two. One of them is without, and it's on the very top left, not the very top, just under the top of Mount Adams. But there's the first picture, there's nothing at all. You can't really see anything. And then the second picture, it's instantly noticeable. There's a ship up there, and for whatever reason, and it's watching them. I don't know if it's watching them. It must be, because 1 second it's not there, and the next second it is. I'm sure James, you, Jimmy, have experienced similar things there.
Yeah, and there's something else that I do want to mention. There's a lot of wildlife up there, and you can sit there at one of the tables in front of the the flight deck there at the Skywatch field, and get your binoculars out and look. And if you are into birds, you can sit there and watch these eagles and hawks, cruise around and dive and get their munch on. Right, that's going on all the time. And you can, you know what a bird is, and you can see them, and you see it over and over again. The stuff that we are talking, and it's fun to do. The wildlife up there is just absolutely incredible. But what we are talking about here, you know the difference between a diving hawk or somebody flying in a circle around. You can see everything. You can see the feathers. You can see the colors. You can see everything. And then what we are talking about here, it's two different things. And for somebody to say that this is a diving bird, this is a bug, no. You go up to ECETI and you want something flies over us and flashes its headlights and disappears, and you want to tell me that is a bug, that is a drone, that is a bird, you're wrong. And unless you're there, please just save the criticism. You just need to go there and experience these things for yourself. So what do you, as you've been looking at the responses to your video, and there's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and you've taken the time to respond, what do you do when you see somebody that says it's a bug, or it's a bird, or it's a drone, or it's a plane? They all can't be right. But how do you respond to that, Ryan?
Well, I just tell them my opinion on what I believe. Everybody's going to have their belief on this thing. It just, and it doesn't bother me what anybody really says about it. Anybody can say whatever they'd like. I'll just give them my opinion. And then it might open their eyes, or it might make them think of something that they hadn't seen prior. Yeah. Because if them not being there, it's really difficult for them to see what I've seen. You really kind of have to be in the moment to experience it. Right.
And this is the other thing that I have a problem with. I want both you and James to comment on this. I have yet to have ever experienced a bug that would fly past my head and in a perfect straight line, and then and disappear. And you would capture that on footage where it would appear that bug was flying in a perfectly straight line. I have never seen a bug fly in a straight line, ever. Insects fly like they fly. Right?
Yeah.
You would see this thing curling through the air like a corkscrew, but you would not, right?
Yeah, the thing with this thing as well, with this craft that I have video of, is that we slowed it down on my brother's computer, same video, same everything, the one that's posted on YouTube, and we zoomed in on it and then played it in slow-mo, like tapped in slow-mo, and the thing is actually rotating. It's actually spinning to the left as it's going at that speed. So I don't know. We don't even have a drone that can do that yet. I don't believe.
Well, and this is if it is what we think that it is, I can tell you what it isn't. A hawk is not going to dive parallel to the ground. It doesn't do that. It doesn't fly that way. If it was a bird, we would see flapping wings. There are no flapping. There is no wings extended. There's nothing like that here. If it was a bug, wouldn't we see legs? Wouldn't we see something trailing? Wouldn't we see some wings flapping? Wouldn't we see something like that? There would be something to give it away, right?
All you see is black, the fade to black.
You see it fade to black.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in on that. Basically, this thing is moving so fast that eliminates any kind of a bird, and it doesn't flap its wings. It doesn't move up and down. I used to raise falcons and hawks. I know exactly what they look like when they're diving. And this one, the way it moved, just the sheer speed of it, and it went down around behind the trees and then made a turn. It never flapped its wings. It never did anything. It was going God knows how fast, way beyond the speed of a bird. And the distance of it shows clearly it's not a bug because it went, a mile away and went behind the trees. And a bug would just be a quick little flip in front of your screen. So, all these things these guys come up with, and drones, we don't have a drone that can do that, especially. So it makes no sense. I mean, they're not using base logic when they make these claims.
Yeah, I'm looking at a couple of stills that have been posted up here on Twitter. This one from Osiris Machine, and I'm going to retweet it now so everybody can check this out. But and I never had the time to go back and do this, but he's got a still up. I don't know, Osiris. I'm sorry, I don't know if you're a man or a woman, but there's a shot here that clearly shows this object behind the tree. You can see the tree is in front of it. This is not, so please, and you can see the focus on how this is actually done. It is not, you can see it. It matches what is going on in the background. That's not a foreground shot. Thank you for this, Osiris. This is incredible. I'm going to post both of these right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was also straight. The way it flew, it did not waver. It made a little upturn and went around the corner, but it just flew in such a perfect trajectory. There was just no other up and down or side movement or anything. It was just a straight shot. The way it went, you could tell it was under some kind of control and had an amazing stabilization system on it.
Yeah, and go ahead, Ryan.
There also seemed to be some kind of communication there. I mean, it seemed too good to be true. Like, I had pressed the button, and it was in the image. It was almost like it was like they were toying with me. They were being intelligent. They were planning it. And then I have a bunch of the other two videos are the same way. The video that me and you took in front of your house, James, before I left. There's actually there's two crafts coming. They're in the field. One drops down and then comes back up. You can see it above the tree line, and then one comes from the right and crosses its path and just is gone. My slow motion barely caught it, but I did catch one then as well. Yeah, I got a few on slow motion, and one dropped straight down. It came from way up high, and it dropped straight down and just stopped and bounced a couple times and then went towards the mountain. And other ones were going up, straight up from the mountain, and they were like bright, silvery white, like a disc type thing, and they just went straight up, ascended straight up. And again, these were in slow motion, so these things were moving really fast. And I don't care. I don't know any bird, anything that can accelerate that fast straight up.
I don't either.
You know, the way these things are doing, and so it's, you know, just, you can't, if you just apply logic to this and watch what's going on, they're unknowns. You know, basically they're not any known object.
Now, Ryan,
I agree.
Did you hear anything?
No. I also, on the slow motion mode on my phone, you can edit. You can play that slow motion in normal speed. So I played that video in normal speed. I posted it on my YouTube page, and you have to play it about 10 times to really clearly see how fast. I mean, because you've seen it in slow motion all those times, and then you play it in real time, and it has sound and everything, and it's unbelievable.
It's just a blip. I did see that. I sped it up. It's in and out of the frame. It's gone. I mean, you can't even. It's not even. It's interesting to watch. Side by side, but it blips by really fast. Now, Ryan, before I let you go, and I want to thank you for taking the time coming on the show, and we'll get you back on the show with the other footage, and we'll spend some more time on another show. And I appreciate that, and the invitation is there, great. And we'll get that. But let me ask you this: so now, how many days did you spend at ECETI?
I left that day to go back to Tacoma to do some work that I had to do in Tacoma. Would you say probably about 11 o'clock, James?
11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
That next day. So I took that video, and then I left. I experienced all that I could at that time, because I really did have to get back, but I needed to get there to experience what my brothers and so many others before me had experienced there.
Yeah, and so you didn't get a chance to do a couple of things. You didn't go into the medicine wheel and meditate?
I actually did that before I took that video. That's where I was coming from. But I was the only one there at the time. But like the whole morning, there was only 2 other people that I had seen before I'd met with James to show him my video.
Right.
There.
But you didn't get a chance to sit out and sky watch.
No, I did not.
You know that's a life changer, man.
I'm going back. I'm definitely going to be coming back if James approves.
Oh yeah, he approves.
Yeah,
he approves. Just wear your fade to black hat. They'll let you through the gate.
Okay,
but
I will.
It's just an extraordinary place, and I have to say, I'm going to ask you, Ryan. If you have some friend that is a total skeptic, UFOs aren't real, man. You've lost your mind. What do you think would happen after they left ECETI? You take your buddy up there and let him just kick it for 24 hours. What do you think would happen?
I think I don't even need to get him there now. I'll just show him my YouTube video, and he'll be wanting to go without me.
It's crazy, isn't it? And this is something else I wanted to ask you before I let you go. It's a pretty beautiful place, isn't it? You can feel the magic from the second you get out of your car. You know that this is a special place.
Definitely, yeah. You can definitely feel it. It's all around you. Even before you get there, you can feel the energy from the place.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy.
It's a beautiful, beautiful place.
Two last quick questions. That blue orb that you saw, how long did it last?
It actually started proceeding to go faster and seemed like it was coming closer. So I don't know. I had to walk so far down that road before I could even see it. It was kind of hidden by the tree line. But as soon as I got to a certain point, it was unrecognizable. You could not miss it. And I couldn't. It freaked me out. Definitely scared me. But it was a good thing. I just had never seen it before. I feel like it was a good energy, but I just never experienced anything like it before.
I did the same thing. How big was it? If you were going to guess, I said mine was about 40 to 50 feet. How big was yours?
Well, this orb was, it was like a softball size from the distance that I was at. But it may have been bigger, but it was going rapidly up and down. I don't know.
That is crazy.
What that means.
That is crazy. I'm jealous. I'm just fully jealous. Ryan, thank you so much, and we'll be in touch over the next couple of days. I'm excited to look at these next two videos that you've got, and we'll take it from there. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us tonight on Fade to Black.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Love your show.
Thank you, Ryan. And that's what I'm talking about. We've got a fellow Fadernaut showed up at ECETI, shot one of the most incredible UFO videos that I have ever seen, and one that I've been doing my best, James, to debunk. I've been trying to figure this. I seriously, I need to clear this out of my mind, and the only thing that I keep coming back to, the more and more that I look at it, James, I'm going to be straight with you. I want it to be a bug. I want it to be a bird. I want it to be a plane. I want it to be a flying deer. I want it to be anything so we can answer these questions, but I cannot do it. The video stands out on its own. Do you think it's one of the most incredible videos you've seen out of ECETI?
Yeah, it's an incredible one. There's so much that we have. I mean, we have these massive ships that are, even half treetop level, going through the trees and treetop level, and they're just huge. And so, having that, we've seen things where ships actually will go behind a mountain, and then all of a sudden you can see them through the mountain. It's really crazy. Peter Slattery, who's ECETI Australia, was here, and a couple other people were here and saw that, and it just blew their minds. And they got some footage of some of the things here, but he's another one over there in Australia. I was talking about him earlier. He's having actually Pleiadians show up in his living room and getting photographs, and he's also got a photograph of a gray, a video of a gray. It's undeniable. And now he's getting ships hovering right over his house. And I was in Australia, and I went to see him over there, and the ships just kept coming and coming, and he's in Melbourne. He's downtown, almost like downtown Melbourne.
Right.
And these ships are just right over his back deck. We're up, and they're popping in, and they're saying hi and powering up, and, you can see them going half through the trees, and some are just beautiful pinkish purple colored. They're just amazing. There's some look like spinning tops, but he's doing some amazing stuff. And when he was here, he was the one that filmed the ship coming out of the mountain, out of the cave up there. So he's got some amazing stuff. But
well, let's take a break right here, James. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we got to talk about the door up on the top of ECETI, what's going on with that, and also James's new telescope. Have you guys seen this thing? We'll be right back. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland, live from ECETI Ranch. This is Fade to Black. We'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
Hi, I'm Matt Ray for U.S. Gold Bureau. I cover the market daily. No matter how strong it gets or what long-term predictions say, you can count on one thing as certain. There will be another crash. It will affect your assets. And when it happens, wouldn't you rather be 2 weeks or even 2 months ahead of the curve? Well, Wall Street insiders have been quietly converting their assets into gold for the last few years. Now it's your turn. Buying gold and silver is easier than buying stocks. With the U.S. Gold Bureau's Investor Guide, it's free, and you learn how to buy precious metals in or out of an IRA or 401k retirement plan. Your investment shipped directly to your home and is 100% insured and guaranteed. You control your investments and shelter them against the stock market, politics, and unknown threats. Act while your dollar is still worth something. Call U.S. Gold Bureau, 800-885-GOLD. U.S. Gold Bureau, 800-885-GOLD, 800-885-GOLD. Call today.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRAradio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland. I do want to thank Jason Wenner for coming on, who shot the amazing video that we've got posted up. He shot it last Friday morning at 9 a.m. up at ECETI. The footage is incredible. We've got it up on Twitter. You can go to our Facebook pages. It's there, and of course our YouTube channel for Fade to Black. It's right there. Now, James, the UFO door, the door up on top of ECETI, that top of Mount Adams, I should say, that we caught and videotaped and photographed the weekend that we were up there back in August. What's the latest news?
It's getting really interesting up there because we saw a ship and it had a blinking light on it, which most of them don't have that. And it was just hovering there right in front of the door. And the next morning we looked up and the whole thing was buried in rubble. It's like the whole thing just collapsed down and, on itself. So we thought, something happened. Somebody tried to close that door down up there. Who knows, could be some black project or whatever, went up there and messed with it. And But we just looked up there again today, and you can actually see, even though it's been snowing up there pretty hard, you can actually see a cave. Like it's still, somehow, it looks like it's still there. And, or they, pushed the rubble out and just opened it up again. I'm not sure, but we've got to get some telescopes on it again and see what's going on. We've had the weather's been a little weird lately. The mountain's been covered with a lot of clouds, but next couple of days I think it's going to be clear.
You recently acquired, I'm assuming that was yours. You sent me the pictures of it, a massive telescope.
Oh, that was a guest that brought that.
Oh, I thought that was yours. I thought it's about time, James got one of these. Yeah. What did it look like, the door through that telescope? That telescope looked like it was like 6 feet, 8 feet long, maybe a couple of feet in diameter. It was big. Yeah, it was huge. You could definitely see the cave, and you could definitely see, you could see inside the cave. And, it was undeniable. It was definitely a cave up there. Now, when you say, this is what I'm confused on when it comes to, I've looked at it so much now that I can't, there's nothing above it to fall down. There's no debris. There's nothing above the cave to fall down in front of the cave. But there is obviously a collection of rocks and debris at the bottom of it. It can only come from inside the cave, right? Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it's what it looks like. I mean, if that debris was falling from above, the top of the mountain would be flat by now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because definitely. That kind of debris, that amount of debris has to come from somewhere. Yeah, and we've had some people try to get up there, pretty close, and they got some pictures, and I haven't seen those pictures yet, so I'm waiting to see those, but we'll probably be getting those pretty quick to see what you could see with their photographs. But they got pretty close and took some telephoto zoom lens on that with Jason Quidd. He got some really good photographs, and you can see in his photographs that it's definitely a cave. Yeah, the pictures were sent to me, a couple of them from Brad Olson and Mark Walsh. And, yeah, I haven't even seen those yet. Yeah, and I'm looking at them. I don't know what to think because there's nothing. It's not a shadow. Okay, so let's forget about that. Erase that from your speculations. It's not a shadow. It is a perfectly flat, perpendicular wall. It's flat. It's smooth with this black splotch in the middle of it. The pictures that I have seen from them, it almost looks like a flat wall there is closed. I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't look open. In other words, at this point, it's not a cave, but it's but the black area there that is there is not a shadow. They are so close, you can tell at this point there's nothing there around this to cast a shadow. So erase that, forget about that. I don't know what is making the shape. Now, this is the other thing. They are so close, and you look at this debris and this buildup that is below it, and you can see the trails of water and dirt and mud and dirty water, that are coming down from this entrance. And that debris is accumulating from something above, but there's nothing there to fall down. I don't know how else to explain it to anybody. It's like if you had a wall, outside of your house, and you're looking at the wall, and down at the bottom of the wall outside of your house is a collection of debris, wood, sticks, rocks, and you look above it, and you're going, now, where is this coming from? There's nothing here. That's what I'm trying to say. There's nothing above it to fall down to this big pile of debris that is below it. It looks like what it should be. It's coming from the cave and is being thrown out, and it's like garbage, right? It's like somebody is
tailings.
Yeah, somebody is digging something from inside of the cave. That's the only way I can explain it. I don't want to sound crazy. It's just what is depicted in all of the photographs and images.
Well, what's weird is it keeps changing. I mean, it was undeniably, you could see a major cave there. And then the next thing you know, it looks like part of the top of the cave fell down, or something. I don't know. And then you see a flat wall there. And then now there's a cave there again. So I have no idea. I don't know if that flat wall is a hologram that they created, so you can't see the opening anymore, or who knows what's up there.
Mark just texted at this very moment saying, man, Mark, I love you, man, but I'm just going to read you his text. He says, "Hey, Jimmy, thanks for the shout out. Let me know if you need any of the pics of the sealed door." Dude, don't text me. Post the pics. Send them to me. Yeah. Send them to me via email. Post them up in Twitter, Mark. Right now, we would love to see them. I was blown away, but I was hoping to have some resolve in this, James. I wanted to see if it was a shadow, what was casting the shadow. So that was answered. There's nothing casting a shadow. It's definitely on the side of the mountaintop, whatever it is. I was hoping to see rocks and that it was just a play on the eye, some kind of mirage. It's not that. It is exactly what these pictures are showing. It's a black spot on the side of the mountain that to me looks like it's a closed door of some kind with camouflage in front of it. That's what it looks like, with a pile of garbage outside, like somebody is digging a cave. Somebody is inside of there. I don't know who it is. And they are taking what they are digging. It's got to go somewhere. And it's being thrown outside of this door and is accumulating at the bottom of the door. It's simple as that. There's no other explanation for me.
Well, what's interesting, too, is that even, whether that is or is not, it's almost a moot point, because there's another massive light door in the center of the mountain that we film opening on a regular basis. And we just saw this massive meteor that came over the Pacific Northwest. Well, it came right over the ranch, and it dropped down, and it went into that door. And then we have the cave on the right side of the mountain that has all the faces carved in it and looks like a Buddha statue at the bottom. And we have filming ships coming in and out of that, on a pretty much regular basis. So, I mean, there's so much going on up there. It's just, if you try to dismiss one thing, there's 10 more things that you can't explain.
Yeah, one of the videos that you showed me of this light craft, it's lit up, it's round, clearly lit. Fly right out of the center of the snow in the middle of the mountain and take off to the stars. There is no explaining that. I can't say what it is, but I can tell you what it's not, right?
I know. And people go, same thing. They go, oh, that's a bug or that's a bird. And I just go, that thing went into space, and it went so fast, and we had to slow it down. I mean, it was just a blip, and you had to slow it down to even figure out what it was, because it was moving, so fast. So, I mean, I see this all the time, and I just kind of go, you guys pay attention. It's this is not a bug. It's coming out of the mountain.
Have you thought about, and I've read this over and over again now since we have posted the videos about Mount Adams, have you thought about 24-hour GoPros, video footage of the mountain, just documenting everything 7 days a week?
I have. Actually, there were some people from MUFON that came up, and they wanted to do that, but they wanted me to sign a contract, and I would have to go through all the footage. And, if they were to put this camera in, and then they had a camera that also had sound on it, and they wanted to mount it right outside my bedroom window, which I thought was a little odd. So, with a thing where it could turn 360 degrees. And I said, no, it's not going to happen, and they got kind of upset at me and everything. And I think there's ulterior motives to that one. But I have had other people come up and they said they wanted to hook something up. But, we have like boxes and boxes and boxes of footage of ships that there's so much evidence. To me, it's like, I don't know, I'm just having fun grabbing some new evidence every now and then. But there is just such a mountain of, evidence, and tens of thousands of people have come up here and seen it for themselves and actually filmed it. So it's just, the mountain of evidence is there. One day, we'll do that. One of the real problems we have up here is just getting bandwidth to have, even with a dedicated line, we don't have enough bandwidth here, for the internet to do things like that. It's what we've got up here is so bad. And we tried to do a satellite, and that was even worse, so until they get this other system in. But supposedly they're putting in a whole new fiber optic line, and that's going to make everything light speed. That's what they tell us.
Yeah, I envision, almost like going to Costco, right, and getting one of their video setups for the house, and with multiple cameras, getting something like that was standalone with the hard drive that could sit there and record with a couple of cameras all the time. Now, you do have to go back and review the footage. You've got enough people up there and your volunteers. You just park one of those volunteers in front of a monitor, have them go in shifts, because this is what is fascinating to me, because I know what I have captured, I know what Rita has captured by accident, and it's only because we were there taking pictures. But how much are you missing? That's the thing. How much is going on that you never ever get a chance to see?
I think we film probably way less than 1% of what's going on here.
It has to be. That's not a surprising number. It's probably what's going on. When you are sitting there doing your night watch, and you've got your night watch camera, your night vision camera, you've got your night vision, and you're sitting there and you have your tripod, and I get that. That's what. And while you are filming in one direction, there's somebody else seeing something behind you that's not getting taped. Yeah. Right? And I've seen this go on. Yeah. I know that. And I left there, when Rita and I left after 3 or 4 nights there, we didn't videotape anything. We sat there and watched like everybody else did. Now, it's pretty amazing, but those, all we have now is eyewitness testimony, right? I don't have anything to back up these fantastic things that I was seeing. Which brings me back to my point. It seems like you should almost have, something static, just one pointing at the sky, one pointing at Mount Adams, and just cranking out, because it's just amazing. I can't put it into words how many things we saw that, I don't know if it was Friday night or Saturday night, the night that it exploded. It was like Steven Spielberg in Close Encounters. And, that 45 minutes there, James, that 1 hour was one of the most extraordinary things that I've ever witnessed in my life. And as far as I know, it wasn't videotaped by anybody.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. We do miss so much. And we just don't have the equipment, or the funding to do that right now. But we'd also have to, put somebody on staff to go over all that, which is a lot of, just a lot of time and energy, because just keeping the ranch going keeps us all really busy right now, just providing, the services for the guests and things like that. But, it's in the future, hopefully we can get to that point where we can just assign somebody full time. This is your job. You get up in the morning, you turn on the computer and look at everything and see what came on.
I wanted to ask you a couple of questions before we hit this break, and we'll take some phone calls and stuff when we come back. But the community that is up there, you have Trout Lake, there's lots of homes. that are all around there. Are they seeing the same things that you're seeing over the ranch?
Definitely. All my neighbors are seeing it, and a lot of people, in Trout Lake are seeing it. It just depends. We still have some people here with tubes, that don't want to acknowledge it, or they can't talk about it because they'll lose face, within the the religious program going on here or whatever. But they are definitely seeing it. And I just had one of my neighbors was talking to his mom, and he just said, "That's all a bunch of nonsense over there. I've never seen anything. That's a bunch of crap." Basically, is what he was saying. And then right after he said that, it was interesting. He walked out on the deck and he was looking over towards the mountain. Towards the ranch here, and he saw a ship come right over the ranch, stop, send a blue beam down, and then take off and disappear. And he was just like dumbfounded, and he went back in and apologized, to his mom. He goes, I'm really sorry. I just saw something that I cannot explain. He goes, it's real. But we have that happen here over and over again. People, the neighbors have all seen things, and everybody has their uptake on it. Everything from, those are angels to demons. So it's really interesting because everybody taints it by their belief system. What's going on. But there's an old saying: you have to observe this stuff through the fresh mind or the Buddha mind, and not add all your programming, religious or cultural programming into it. And, to get a better picture of what's really going on.
There was something I thought was really interesting about Mount Adams that I want to talk about really quick. I have, just like anybody else, we've all seen mountains around the world and around the country, and whether you're skiing or visiting or you're young or you're old, we've all looked at mountains. At night, during the day, and you look and there's the mountain and it's all cool and it's great. Over at Mount Adams, and I saw this 3 nights in a row, you're sitting there, you're looking at the mountain either with naked eye or with binoculars, you're looking at the mountain, and it's sparkling with lights that flicker all over the mountain. Sometimes they're like a string of lights, like going miles, by the way. This is a string of lights that and flicker, and it's glowing. Some of it appears to be glowing underneath the snow, like it's coming from under. Unexplainable, but this light is flickering like a Christmas tree. What can you help me explain what I am seeing? Because it appears to be either on the surface or below the surface of the snow. Some is red, some are orange, some are green, some are blue, yellow. It's not, it's not like it's flames, like it's, how do I want to say this, lava or some kind of volcanic activity. No, and you can see it, and it's flickering all over the mountain. Now, what am I seeing? I've never seen it on another mountain. It's right there.
Some of it's just energy, but there's all kinds of things going on up there. But the Native Americans call that the fairy lights, and they won't go up there. They said, it's too crazy up there. They won't go up there. It's just, I know people have gone up there and spent the night right next to the door where the door is, and they're not the same. They can't even talk about it for weeks after that. So it's very taxing, on your consciousness to go up there. But there's so much going on up there on that mountain, and so many things coming in and out of it. And a lot of the hikers just say these lights come out of the mountain out of nowhere, and they can't figure it out. What these lights are. But I think there's multiple reasons for the lights, and the lights are definitely intelligent, and just the way they act, they respond, to people, and there's just so much going on there. It's hard to pigeonhole it into anything.
Now, one of the thoughts that I had was that there's the possibility of snowmobiles, right? Headlights. Somebody's up there cruising around the face of the mountain with the snowmobile. This is at night when you're looking at the lights. Then you go and you look at it, the same spot, during the day. And at this point, you're so acclimated from looking at the mountain. You know every single tree, everything, right? You just know it. And you look at it during the day, and it's a sheer cliff, right? There's no snowmobiles going across this. And you start to wonder. Now, I also thought about, could it be hikers on the mountain? Could it be mountain climbers on the face of the mountain? I don't know, hanging in a hammock at night? Is there that kind of mountain climbing that is going on up there? Is that normal activity?
Well, one thing is that's 14 miles away. So we took a 7 million candle power light up there and tried to shine it back at the ranch, and we couldn't even see it. And those lights that we're seeing up there, some of those things are just enormous. I mean,
right.
The trees look like they're a quarter-inch tall, and some of those trees are 200 feet plus. And then you look at these lights they look like the same width of maybe 3 or 4 trees, and so just the sheer candle power and being able to see it from there, it's off the scale. Whatever they're using, and the other thing too is, as you said, the terrain. It goes from glaciers to cliffs to lava faces, and these things move right over the lava faces and go up and down the mountain, which would be impossible for any kind of a vehicle. It would just be torn to shreds. And it's definitely not skiers. Some people say it was skiers with flares, but that's not the case, because that skier just jumped off a cliff that would have turned him into mush at the bottom, and they're skiing over rocks and everything else. Now, another thing is that's wilderness area. You can't have any kind of a vehicle. I mean, they can't even go up there and fight fires, basically. And so that whole area is designated as wilderness area, and you can't have any kind of a vehicle up there. You get in big trouble for that one. And another thing, too, as you said, there's no way a snowmobile could traverse, the way those things are traversing the mountain. There's no snowmobile that could make that journey without being torn apart, and rubble, because, you're going over massive boulders and things like that.
Well, and you bring up another really good point. A snowmobile from 14 miles away, that headlight would be a pinprick compared to what we are seeing here. We're talking about very large light.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it like that. That's a very good point. You wouldn't even you would see a little pin light moving around if it was a snowmobile.
Well, I got the whole mountain lighting up into a giant pyramid on the left side, and a giant light pyramid appears on the mountain, and there's no way, you'd have to have Steven Spielberg up there with,
Right.
So massive lights, universal light or something up there to do something like that, because that was a massive light pyramid that formed on the mountain.
Let's take a break right here. When we come back, there's been some amazing footage done by the GoPro team that was up there with Clyde Lewis. I've seen the footage. Haven't had permission to use it, but I've seen it, and so has James, and we'll talk about that when we come back. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation. and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Do you worry a lot? If you're forgetful, nervous, moody, or overwhelmed, chances are you're not protecting yourself from the ravaging effects of stress and anxiety. No matter the cause, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, your quality of life, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in as little as 1 to 2 weeks and increase your ability to recall facts, names, and numbers in 4 to 12 weeks. Calm and Clever was created by scientist Kurt Hendricks, a principal investigator in 2 NIH-funded studies on Alzheimer's disease. Try Calm and Clever for 2 months. You'll feel the difference. Call 1-800-758-8746 or go to calmandclever.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This portion of the broadcast is brought to you by New Pharma, GNU Pharma. Just go to the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. Click on it. Go over to New Pharma. Read about the science. And then use the promo code F2B. F2B. F2B, 33% off of your order. And I highly recommend the foundation. Start there. Change yourself. Help yourself. NewPharma.com. Our guest tonight is James Gilliland. He's live from ECETI Ranch. And, James, before we continue, I want to let everybody know that I just heard from Mel Fabregas over at Veritas Radio. And our interview that we did today over on Veritas will be up for everybody over tomorrow over at Veritas.com. I think he just said 7 p.m. tomorrow, Pacific, whatever that means. Let me see here. 7 p.m. Pacific time, it'll be posted over at Veritas. Okay, James, this video that was shot by GoPro Mountain Climbers GoPro, I think. I don't know their official name. At this point, it doesn't matter. I couldn't get permission to use the footage, but the footage I have seen, and so have you, I'm going to describe what I saw. Now, they're on the top of the mountain. They're on the top of Mount Adams. You can see a ridge line of snow in the background. Clearly a beautiful shot, high def. It's gorgeous. And then off in the distance from behind the mountain, not in front, from behind the mountain rises up this ship. And it is cigar-shaped. It's long. It's obviously huge. I have no idea. But it rises up in the atmosphere in the background, and it rises up, and it's black. I don't know how big it is. It's got to be, 100 feet. I could be wrong on that, but it's huge. But it is fluttering, like there's energy there. And then a second ship appears from behind the mountain, and it's the same shape. And this one, although it's black, glows, right? It's got an energy field around it. Now, before any of those people out there are going to go, oh, man, come on. It's exactly what it looks like. It's fluttering, and you can see this white energy field. I don't know how else to describe it, glowing around this, and it's fluttering. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say here. And then it rises up and then goes out of view. The video is about, 15 seconds long, I think, total. 2 ships that rise up from behind the mountain and then go out of frame. That's how I'm describing it. How do you describe what was going on in that amazing, breathtaking footage?
Yeah, that was actually set up with Clyde Lewis and their group, and they said they were going to go up there and bring them up there and have them, hook up all their cameras to see what they could get, and so they did that. And when they looked at their footage, they just freaked out, and they did some analysis on it, and one of them, I believe they're saying, was about 500 feet long. It looked like a cigar-shaped ship, and as you said before, it had those fields around it, like spinning fields of energy, as it went by. But they were so shocked by it that it kind of turned their whole reality system upside down, and I think they're kind of dealing with that. That's why it's hard to get the footage right now, but we're hoping to get that as well. I think we do have some footage just shot off a video monitor. I sent you that, but it's not the actual footage. It's actually filming it on a video monitor, and so we actually are going to load that one up just for now so people can see it. If they go to the ECETI Stargate, the official channel, it'll be up there probably in about another half an hour or tomorrow. Again, our speed here to load things up is so slow. It takes us forever to do anything here, but we're working on that.
Now, this is what's trippy about this footage, and I know that people right now are trying to, in their mind's eye, picture what I'm describing here. Just imagine the sun, clear blue sky, mountain climbers in mountain climbing gear, right? They're up there, and they're in the shot, and you see a nice sloping, snow-covered edge of the mountain at the bottom. Beautiful picture. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And then it doesn't shoot across the screen. It doesn't appear. It's not like a bug or something close no. From behind the ridgeline, this thing slowly rises up and sits there for a second, and it is huge. And it's black, it's long, it's cigar shaped, it's a tube, and it's fluttering, and it's got these ridges on it that are twitching. It's a crazy. I have no idea. I've never seen anything like it. Not in science, not in movies, not in my imagination. It is so otherworldly, and what it looks like. And then, just as that floats out of frame, a second one appears. And again, this doesn't shoot across the screen. This thing just rises up and sits there way off in the distance, and it is an incredible shot. And the second one, like I said, has got a very definite glow that is happening. The same shape, same fluttering, same ridges, same craziness going on, but with this energy field around it. It doesn't zip across the screen. This thing just sits there long enough for you to go, holy crap, what is that? And it rises up behind the ridge. It's not a bird. It's not flying. It's not moving. It's not cruising. It's not zipping. It's not doing any of that. It just shows itself right in the middle of the frame. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have photographs of ships over the mountain like that are just massive cylinder-shaped ships, just like that. And they're covering the whole top of the mountain, so you can imagine how big these are. And you blow them up, and when you blow up the picture, you can see definitely it's some kind of a giant cylinder ship.
You know, over the years, the one thing that I always had issues with, James, was the cigar shape description of craft, right? Cigar shape. I'm thinking a tube, a tube, that just doesn't make any sense. And you hear these descriptions and photographs. I'm thinking tube, flying saucer, round, triangle. Yeah, I can buy into that. Rectangular, cube, a square. Okay, I can, but these cigar-shaped descriptions, I always had problems with. And I listen to everybody, and I've got an open mind. But I'm here to tell you that video is a cigar-shaped craft. That's exactly it is. It's a tube, and it's not. It's kind of blunt on both ends too, as well. It's not round. My memory. I have to go back and look at it again. But
almost looks like a submarine, almost. But you think about it like if you get a package of lifesavers, you've got all these funny little UFO-like objects coming out of it. So who knows? Maybe that's the main ship, and all the other ships are stored inside of it.
Yes, and again, I remember. I got to think about who told me about this, but it was down in San Diego. Man, I have to think about who recounted this story. And it was a tube, and I remember him saying it was copper or bronze colored, metallic. Again, about 500 feet long, appeared behind the mountains in San Diego, and that there were several smaller craft coming out of the back side of it. From one of the ends of this tube, spitting out, like a dozen small craft right out of it. And then it went back behind the mountain, and he never saw it again. And then,
and I think that's what happens with them.
Yeah, and I think he said, again, this was years ago, he saw it again about a week later. Same general area, in the mountains off of the 5 freeway. Down there in San Diego, and I've always had problems trying to figure out how this could be. Like I said, flying saucers, I can sort of understand that. I can get it. Triangle craft, I can get it. I understand. Ooh, are you okay, James?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Sound like you fell down some stairs. And
no, I haven't moved at all. That's weird.
Okay, but this craft that was caught in this GoPro footage, I have to say that's exactly what it is. It is a cigar-shaped craft. The only thing that really, well, not the only thing, there's lots of things, but that was really, really otherworldly about it that you can't explain as you're watching it are these moving ridges, right? That's crazy. And it's not CGI. This is, I wanted to touch upon this. The GoPro people almost didn't want to do this trip, did they? They were totally skeptical. They were fighting this all the way, weren't they?
From what I understand, but I don't think they thought they were going to see anything, and then that turned around really quickly.
And now I want to do this really quick. We have about 15 minutes left. And again, thank you for coming on. You have the ability, and I've seen you do this more than once in different locations too, as well, not just up at ECETI, but you've made contact and you do communicate. When you go out to the medicine wheel and you've got Pleiadians and you've got Orion and you've got these different areas marked out there, and when you say to me, okay, Jimmy, or to anybody, they're here and it's so-and-so and they are here and these crafts are about to appear, how does that communication happen? Because it seems like it's an open line of communication that you can pretty much do it when you need to. Are they reaching out to you first? Are you reaching out to them? How does this communication happen?
After the near-death experience, I came back with kind of, I'd say it's like an interdimensional mind. And so there's constant contact, not just with the ultradimensionals, but with masters and other saints and sages. But it's like this giant phone book, you might say, that it's like the internet, but it's the cosmic internet. And when we get past just thinking we're a body and a personality, that we're actually a spirit that has a body and a personality, and that spirit is multidimensional. And the more you access that, the more you access contact. So, basically contact comes with enlightenment. When you reach a certain level in your, process, they're going to find you and they're going to start contacting you. But it's pretty constant. Just a couple nights ago with the ECETI, with the Japanese group that was here, I walked outside and I said, hey, you guys, at 8:40, between 8:40 and 8:43, a very large ship is going to come through here. And so, just like Paranormal State and all the others, with Fox News too, we did the same thing. And sure enough, right at 8:40, this big ship came cruising right through. And it was cloudy, and it was moving underneath the clouds and through the clouds. It was just amazing, beautiful ship. And, it's on record. I asked, what, as I was filming the ship, I said, what time is it, And this guy goes, 8:40, And it went on for a while, and between 8:40 and 8:43, we couldn't see it anymore.
Through the communication, and I have a very open mind about this, James. I respect it a lot. But through that communication, have you ever gotten a name? Has anybody ever said, this is Bob, and I, just wanted to say hi?
Oh, we have so many names from different groups. I mean, going up to the 13th dimension. So, we've been cataloging all the different names. Like the 5th dimensional felines from Sirius, there's one named Bagheet. There's 7th dimensional ones named Bacall. Blagi's Pleiadian that comes here quite often. She's coming from 2 million years in the future, coming back to help us right now. So she's, a master teacher coming back from the future. But, I mean, we have all of these names cataloged, and there's so many different ones. And some are groups. Like there's these beings that are 13th dimensional beings, and they just call themselves the Laka, and that's all they say. But, identity is not important once you're, in the 13th dimension, but it's more of a collective consciousness. But, they're just, they have magnetized light bodies. They're not even physical, but there's so much more to this story, and it goes so far beyond nuts and bolts. And, but it's sad, the critics want to keep everything nuts and bolts or, secret space fleet or whatever, and all that stuff exists, but there's just so much more to the story that, you're not going to figure this out until you can get into that higher mind and get out of your body and go up to these other dimensions. That's when you're really going to know what's going on.
You're a very nice guy. You're very polite. I don't think, I don't know. You may have been offensive to somebody at some point in your life, but I've certainly never seen it. But let me ask you this, James. You know what's going on. You're connected. ECETI is a fantastic place, and you've got a grip on this. But if you are in the presence of somebody that says that they are making contact and this is what's happening, and do you have a BS detector? Are you able to tell when somebody is not being truthful?
Yes, and it's going off constantly, I hate to say, but there are a lot of people making claims, but they have nothing to back it up. They don't have any footage, they don't have any testimony or witnesses or things like that, and you kind of wonder. As far as channeling, channeling is a real thing, but what are you channeling? Are you channeling your own subconscious? Are you channeling some being in the astral level? Are you, why are you in this field? Are you in it for the fame and the notoriety and the money? All those things need to be taken into account. But, what I see is that, I hear that a lot, and, people come to me and they say they're the incarnation of this being and that being and Michael and Jesus and Cleopatra. And I always tell them, well, what are you doing now?
Yeah. Like I said, you're going to be polite about it. Now, you know what? This is a great question. This comes from Dan over in Melbourne, Australia. And, he's listening to the show. And check this out. He says, what do the Pleiadians call themselves, given that the Pleiadians is an Earth or human term?
Oh, actually, we got the term from them because, see, here's the deal. The Earth's been colonized several times, and the colonies of Atlantis and Lemuria or Mu were actually Pleiadian colonies, and they came from the Pleiades. Now, if you talk to a lot of the Native American elders, I know we're like Cherokee, Scotch, Irish. I mean, they'll talk about the Pleiades as where they come from.
Right.
If you go, they'll point at the Pleiades. If you go to Hawaii and talk to the Kahunas there, they point to the Pleiades. They said we came from the Pleiades. And if you go to the Philippines and the shamans over there, same thing. They point to the Pleiades. And so, it's an ongoing thing, and it's even in the Bible, actually. So the Pleiades is actually a part of our history. It's a long history. And in Australia, if you talk to the Aboriginal people, they point to the Pleiades as well, and it's written in their, they have a wall called Gosford Glyphs, and the whole history of Earth is written on that wall. And I know some of the elders over there very well, and they showed me a lot of things that they don't usually show other people about the real history of Earth and everything. So it all adds up. Actually, the major genetic manipulation and the first colonies were actually Australia, not Africa. And everybody on the planet has Aboriginal genes within us. And the gold that the Egyptians had, the breastplates, came from Ballarat, came from Australia. And there's massive caves there and mining there and things like that. So it really actually began in Australia, and then from there it went to Africa.
That's fascinating. I never looked at it. I'm talking about the term Pleiades. That it was given to us a long time ago, and we've just been using it.
Exactly. Yeah, the Pleiadians gave us that name, and it talks about, in the Bible, it talks about the sweet energies of the Pleiades, the sons of Arcturus. It covers, talks about Orion. It covers all this. And, if you get into the Keys of Enoch and some of the other ones, they really go more into depth in it.
Wow. I'm very rarely speechless. I know they're looking at me on the camera right now in the studio, and they're watching my face, but that makes a lot of sense. I never looked at the etymology of all of that, and that's why I depend on, that's the beauty of having Twitter and the chat rooms in front of me. That's a question I never would have thought of asking, and and they are paying attention. That's a really, really, really interesting point. Now, the last thing that I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite place on ECETI? I've walked all over. There are some spots that weak in the knees. You know, there's some pretty trippy spots. I've done that with you, and also Rita and I had a couple of really extraordinary experiences up there. What's your favorite place on the ranch?
I'd have to say my bathtub.
Your bathtub? Okay. That sounds a little too personal to me, James.
I tell you, I've had the most incredible experiences, believe it or not, in that bathtub. And I mean, I've actually been beamed out of that bathtub, and I get into it in really incredible meditative state, and you're in the warm water and everything else, and I just have some amazing experiences. But you know, I think the medicine wheel has some really powerful energy, and then we've got the Lemurian Hill also has a lot of energy there, and then the Pleiadian Circle also is another, you know, major spot. And a lot of times I'll walk outside and I'll kind of feel who's here, you know, which group is here, and then I'll go and sit in that portion of the medicine wheel, or if I feel a strong Pleiadian presence, I'll go sit there.
It's such a special place. The medicine wheel kind of messed me up for life, you know, and I'll admit that now. Well, I had two experiences there, one with you and one without you. The other one was with a group of people, but you, myself, and Mark Walsh were alone. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And that was the first afternoon that I was there. And that little 5-minute little thing there with you and Mark was the orientation of things to come. It's such a
I know. I could feel they really wanted to contact you, and I knew which group was there, and that's what I was saying. You know, go sit in the Orion Council of Light spot on the medicine wheel. And I remember you had quite an experience.
Yeah, you're laughing now. It wasn't funny, James. That was pretty trippy. And the thing was, I was cracking jokes, right? You know, you heard. That's how uncomfortable I was. I had to deflect with a couple of stupid jokes just to try to diffuse the situation. And it was pretty amazing. But ECETI is just fantastic, and just keep doing what you're doing up there. Over the next couple of days, we'll look at these new videos. Like you said, we'll get those edited and we'll get those out for everybody to see. But they are absolutely incredible. Excited to see what Ryan has got, and some of this other slow-mo footage that you guys are shooting up there. So. Again, James, thank you so much. Be safe. Give our best to Ashley and Lori and the crew and of course, Charlie Brown. Will you do that for me?
All right. I will. Give Reed a big hug for us.
And her hug is coming right back to you. Thank you so much, James.
All right.
Be safe up there.
Right, take care.
Go take a bath.
All right. Good night.
All right, I'll talk to you. James Gilliland, another fantastic conversation with James. ECETI Ranch is all that and much more. It is such a magical, magical place. Ryan, talking about his blue orb. You know, he gets out of the car and he sees the blue orb, freaks out, goes and sits in the car all night. I know exactly what he is talking about and what he went through. Just an absolutely fantastic show tonight. Thank you, James. Thank you, Ryan. I'm going to open up the phone lines. I'll see everybody here in just a minute. The links for James and ECETI are over at jimmychurchradio.com. I'll be right back.
Hey, what up, y'all? Sugar Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our Super Tea is number one. GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
I'm Matt Ray with America's First News. We all know if you're planning a trip, you should shop and compare, right? But why endlessly search the web when you don't have to? Flight Services helps you find the lowest possible airfare. Talk directly to a travel pro right now for the best deals available. Their travel pros have additional discounts not found on websites, and Flight Services provides 24-hour customer service. Call toll-free 844-845-9944. That's 844-845-9944.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
I want to thank James Gilliland for coming in tonight. Fantastic conversation. Ryan Wenner and his video, just an incredible video. This last portion of the show is brought to you by River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. It is truly, absolutely, hands down, the best coffee in the world. I'm not joking about that. Just go to the River Moon Coffee banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. Use the promo code F2BBLEND. That's all you got to do. You're going to get discounts off of your order. Tell them that you're a Fade or not. It's Fade to Black blend. Oh, just absolutely amazing. What I've been doing with the coffee lately, and I cannot stop this. For some reason, I'm using it as my coffee rub on everything that I grill, right? And so what I do, here's my tip. Everybody's been asking me about this. It's very, very simple. You grind it to a powder, right? You don't use a traditional coffee grind. Grind it to a powder, powder, like a powder. Salt and pepper your steaks, your meat on both sides. Salt and pepper. And then, rub that in. You've got to do that always. And then sprinkle the coffee over the top, and not too heavy, but make it so, and then rub it into the meat and rub it across so it is now black and nice and thin over both sides, and then grill it. I'm telling you, it will change your life, man. You will have the respect of the neighborhood, your family, your wife, your kids, or your husband if you're the woman of the house that's handling the grill. That happens. But you will be the grill master. Everybody's going to taste and go, what is going on here? And they can't quite figure it out. It doesn't taste like coffee. It's a spice. And it's not overpowering. It's not any of that. It's what it does to your grilling will change things. I'm telling you, you will be, and you know what? Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Fade to black blend, down to a powder, onto your meat, dry rub, and it's extraordinary. You will not grill without it. We have been everything. I've been doing prime rib and hamburgers and ribs. Last night after the show, I'm going to do a little plug for Life Change Tea too as well. So last night after the show, we get home and I was like, man, we've got those little mini fillets, right? And they were about that big around, maybe 2 inches across, half inch thick, maybe 3/4 of an inch thick, filet mignon, 4 of them, wrapped them in bacon and threw them on the grill. Again, salt and pepper, a little coffee rub on the grill with English muffins for the bread. Little mini filet mignon sliders last night. Amazing. But you know what? We did right before that. That's pretty heavy, to eat right before you go to bed. So did the Life Change Tea right there. Boom. Pounded the Life Change Tea before the meal and ate those filet mignon sliders. Hey, there you go. So what a boring life. But that's what we did last night. All this talk of pizza. Man, I just want to do pizza tonight. I don't know how we can pull that off without going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. Somehow we would have to work that out. But all the pizza talk has got me onto the pizza bandwagon. All right, there you go. Where am I at? Okay, phone lines are open. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Okay, so let me do this. You guys are watching me. We are now open there. Let me get the other phone lines open, and we are officially open for business. Okay, 323-275-9695 or 323-825-5045. Now, I've got a couple of stories I want to share with you really quick that are pretty extraordinary. And here's the first one. And we talk about on this show all the time, the 1%ers, right, controlling the money. The 1/10 of 1% really controlling the money. It goes up. And if you look at any graphs that show the money control, right, you've got, everybody that's broke, and you've got going across, and it goes flat all the way across, the middle income people, from $20,000 a year to $100,000 a year, completely flat at the bottom of the graph. And then as it starts to creep up, and then you get to the real money at the end that is on the globe, right? And it's just this last sliver all the way down at the end that is controlling all of the money in the world. Now listen to this. And this is how frightening it is and it gets. A record number of high net worth individuals, 16.5 million in the world, control an unprecedented, are you sitting down, $63.5 trillion. $63 $0.5 trillion. Now, just stop and contemplate, digest, and think about what I just said. The number of Russian millionaires grew by 20% in 2016, more than any other country. High net worth individuals, HNWIs, as they are known in the money circles, are those who have at least $1 million in cash. Apart from the home that they own, personal possessions, fancy cars, or boats, that doesn't count. You have to have $1 million in the bank, cash, liquid, and then all of your other possessions. Those right there, more than 1.15 million people acquired that status last year. Think about that. An additional 7.5% over 2015. Most HNWIs, who comprise the wealthiest 0.22% of the world population, 0.22%, 1/5 of 1% of the world's population, or about 1 in 450 people, are to be found in just 4 countries. Nearly 4.9 million live in the United States. 2.9 million live in Japan. And over 1 million in both Germany and China. Now, what country's missing from that? Russia. Now, I just told you that Russian millionaires grew by 20% in 2016, more than any other country. But they don't even touch the 4 top countries: the United States, Japan, Germany, and China. Now, are you ready? Are you sitting down? Are you listening to me? The value of assets controlled by these millionaires has grown by 8.2% in the past year. Their wealth, they're already on the list. They're already there. Their wealth that they control grew by 8.2% in a year, fast outpacing everything. Now, it is set to exceed $100 trillion by the year 2025. More than the entire annual GDP of the world, controlled by 0.22% of the population. They've got all the money. The rest of the world, you and I, don't. And the concept, the amount of the wealth that we are talking about here, you can't even imagine what they are controlling. Now, that amount of money, which is more than all of the money in the world, that is controlled by this small amount of people, and 6 of them control the most of it. 6. How easy would it be for them to just wave their hand and fix everything in this planet? Fix everything. They don't care. They don't care about hungry people in Africa. They don't care about hungry people in their own countries. They don't care about homeless. They don't care about infrastructure. They don't care about the roads. They don't care about disease. They don't care about health. They don't care about anything. Now, obviously, they could not spend all of that money in their lifetime. They could not spend all of that money in 100 lifetimes. Could not. So what do they care about? Why? What, you can't take it with you. So why isn't this world fixed? Think about that. So before anybody says to you, "Oh, there's no conspiracy, there is no this," they don't care. You know, it is what. You know what? Stop and think about this for a second. I know if I had that kind of money, that guy, if I had $1 million in the bank, I would, $1 million cash liquid in the bank. I can't spend that kind of money. I give it away now, and I'm broke. I just give it away. Ask anybody that knows me, and how Rita and I deal with the people that are around us at any given moment. We pick up the tab. We provide. We give it away. We don't have money, but what we have, we share. That's what we do. And it wouldn't change. It's not like we keep it now. We don't. We share everything that we've got. And I don't understand that mentality, having all of that money and not fixing the world's problems. It blows my mind. With that, the phones are going nuts. All right. This caller's been on hold the longest. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's Eric.
Oh, hey, Eric. How are you, man? Sorry to keep you on hold for 15 minutes.
Oh, no, it's no problem. I'd hold an hour for you, brother.
What's up?
I just want to piggyback on that comment you just made about you and Rita, how generous you are. And I'll never forget this. When we met at the Contact in the Desert at that bar up there, Joshua Tree, and I wanted to help out. And it's like you didn't really want me to help out, but I did anyway. But I knew then that you were for real when it comes to generosity, because you do pick up the tab. I'm a witness to that.
Well, I remember. I'll tell everybody now what I did with you. I think you flipped me. I think you flipped me a Hunsky, right?
Either that or a 50. I don't remember.
Well, all I know is I put it in my pocket and didn't even tell Rita.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Well, I want to talk real briefly about James Gilliland, but before that, okay, my plan is to go up to ECETI, and I think it's the 20th. It's not this coming, 2 weekends down the road. And I know you got the guy with the night vision, but I want to buy the night vision with the ability to record.
Right.
And I know he's probably got those. So I'll be contacting you, because if I can pick those up before I head out there, then I'll have that and I'll record it. I'd like to spend 10 days there, and whatever I can get on film, I'll share it with you.
Sure. We're making that announcement on Monday. Very Perfect. Excited about this, and thank you for reminding me. But we'll to conveniently.
And I'm ready to buy, just so you know.
I got to tell you, I've got a list now, probably 30 or 40 long, of everybody that has contacted me. I want to be first. That's it. But, I need to get hooked up. And thank you for that, all of you Fadernauts. I know that you guys have been waiting for this, but it's very exciting news, and just thank you. Everybody is going to be so happy, and this is a pretty extraordinary collaboration that we've got. And so there you go. And to have an endorsement like this, everybody, when you see these basketball players with a shoe endorsement or something like this, for a company to come along and support the show and allow for the show to put their name on things, or my name on it, whatever, that part doesn't matter. But it's only because everything that I have seen in the skies has been through this company, and they are the best. So I can't really say now, because formally I just want everything to be in place, and they are still working on a couple of things with the website and adjusting stuff. Everything's ready to go.
Okay, well, I just want to throw in, this is a fact. I bought my own night vision from Ben Hansen, and then I was up there at Shasta with you, and I looked through those night vision that you're going to be offering through that guy, and they were as good or better for a few $100s less than what I paid. And that's a fact. So anybody that's thinking about buying these, I'm not just pumping this up. I really think it's worth it, because I saw my first UFO at Contact in the Desert with those things, and that changed my life.
Yep. There's no question about it, Eric. And thank you for calling in, my friend. And be safe out there. We'll see you tomorrow night on Fader Night.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
You too. Great phone call, Eric. All right. Stay on the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Roxy Wayner.
This is who?
Roxy Wayner. Ryan Wayner is my son.
Oh,
that was his son.
Hey,
yeah, hi.
How
yeah,
are you?
back in 1979, my husband and I seen a UFO back in North Dakota, and when I ran in the house to get a camera, back then he just had like 35 millimeter, didn't have a good camera, and
Oh, I lost you. Roxy, are you there? Roxy. Okay. Wow, that's strange. It just absolutely stopped right in the middle of what she was saying. Okay, Roxy, call me right back. I don't know what's going on. I think she was, man, that's absolutely bizarre. I need to talk to Ryan's mom. That was Ryan Wenner's mom. She said Wiener. Wiener. Roxy, call me right back if you can hear me. I've got your phone number in front of me, and I'll put you right at the front of the line. That just bums me out. Oh, what happened? Was that the NSA? That was pretty trippy. And so there you go. I still don't see you here, Roxy. I've got my if you can hear me, I'm watching the phone lines, and I've got your phone number right here. Okay, so just call me right back. Okay, back to I've got a couple of other calls holding too. You guys stay right there. I want Roxy to call back and get back in here. So if you're on hold, just stay right there. But it's pretty crazy, isn't it, about this amount of money that is shared by the top 0.22% of the world, close to being $100 trillion. One other thing I wanted to share with you really quick. Philippine leader Rodrigo Duterte, right, the madman over in the Philippines, is now praising the United States. Now, he is now calling the United States an important security ally in what can only be described as, for me, an epic turnaround and about face. Duterte dismissed his previous tirades against Washington as water under the bridge. Yeah, last week during a speech, he said that all of this is water under the bridge. I am under advice by the Department of Foreign Affairs, and I would like to temper my language and start to avoid cursing. You know, he's now calling us their saviors, and that we are allies, and that we're there to help them. He said, now check this, even today they provided crucial equipment to our soldiers to fight the terrorist. And there's your answer. The military. All right, I think I have Roxy back. Roxy, are you there?
Hi, I'm on.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I don't know either, but that doesn't matter. You know, you start talking about UFOs and strange things happen, Roxy.
Mm-hmm.
So your son shot a pretty amazing video. What did you think?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, when you saw it, what did you think?
When I saw it, I thought it was a UFO right away. And then I took it, we were in Billings, and I showed my nephew, and everybody pretty much thought that's what it was because of how, how you slowed it way down.
Yes.
And how it stayed its shape and everything. And that's pretty much what we saw back in 79, because it's like enormous. You know, it's just, I don't know how to explain it. If you have never seen one, you're not going to know it and like what I'm talking about. But I've seen one, and now my son's seen one, and that's what I think it is. And it's pretty cool because when he told me about it, he said he went there with an open mind and just said that if he's going to see something, he'll see it, and that's what happened. But like us, it was like we were going home. It was night. It was 1979. Alan, my son, was only a month old, and it was pitch black, and we lived on a farm, and we were going down the road, and next thing you know, this bright hovering light was above us, just hovering, and it was just, so bright that you couldn't even see. We looked at each other like, what the heck is this, you know?
Right.
And then it went behind, like, the field, and it hovered over there. So I ran in the house, and my kids' dad stayed outside to, see what it was going to do. And then I get the camera, like I said, and nothing showed up but a white dot on the, have no film like you do nowadays. They got all these cameras and these phones that you can catch everything on. So
right. Well, I gotta say, Roxy, you sound like you're really, really, really cool. You know, and
I can't wait to come there and experience the ranch, because Alan told us about it when he was there.
Right.
And then Eric lives in Washington, my other son, and he's been there like 3 or 4 times now. And then Ryan, you know, coming there and capturing that is just crazy. It's just so.
Yeah, Ryan, who is really cool. He's obviously got some amazing parents. But did you listen to him on the show tonight?
Yes, I did. This is the first time I listened to your show. Well, actually, Alan's been putting it like on my messenger, and I've been like listening to it before this. But this is the first time I've actually got on and like wrote on the comments and everything. So yeah, I'll be listening to you.
Yeah, well, you know,
I love your voice, and I love how what you did with my son's movie and everything with the like slowing it way down and everything, and I just can't get enough of it. I watch it all the time.
Well, and thank you for that. But I wanted to ask you this, and I've only got a couple of minutes before the end of the show. When you heard Ryan talk about getting out of his car, right, and seeing the blue orb and freaking out and getting back in his car and shutting the door and not getting out until the morning, what'd you think about that?
That was like pretty much the same thing as us. It's like we were pretty much, that's like exactly what happened. Like we were just shaking in the house and just didn't know what to think. And I've never like I look up in the sky and to see if I could see, but I've never seen it like that, like I did in '79. And like I bet if I come there, who knows, you know. I started feeling that.
Well, Roxy,
I'll see what I've seen.
Thank you for taking the time to call in.
Thank you.
Your sons are all wonderful, and Ryan really captured something pretty magical. And just thank you for that, and thank you for your family.
You're welcome. Thank you. I can't wait to meet you.
And you will. Okay. All right, Roxy. You have a great night. Thank you for taking the time.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
Absolutely. There you go. Ryan Wiener's mom. It's Wehner, by the way. I've been saying Wenner, and it should be Winner, because that video is just that. Roxy sounds really, really cool. Roxy, seriously, I do look forward, Rita and I, to meeting you, whether it's at ECETI, one of the other conferences, or just in general. Great phone call. Thank you for that. And like I said, it just sounds like Ryan's got the really cool parents. I've been watching his brother Alan post here too as well. What a great family, right? And they have one of the great pieces of UFO footage that's ever been shot. I'm just glad that Rita and I and Fade to Black could have our small part of all of that. All right, well, that concludes another amazing evening here in the bunker with all of you. I do want to thank James Gilliland and Ryan Wehner and Ryan's mom calling in tonight. And tomorrow night is going to be another Fader night right here, live, open lines all night long with John Rappaport coming in with his No More Fake Newsroom live. I'm sorry, I've left 10 calls on hold tonight. I just couldn't get to everybody. So you guys, if you're listening to me right now, I'll see everybody tomorrow night. Just call in and I'll be sure to take your phone calls. Fade to Black is produced by Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Mark D. Kovar. Thanks to LJ3, Renee Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldridge. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Tomorrow night, Fader night. Don't forget, Thursday night, best night of the week. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until tomorrow night, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tappy.